morning, everyone, and welcome to Hope City Kids. We are so excited that you took the time to be with us. In studio, it is my pleasure, it is my honor to have a beautiful young lady here. This is Adara.
Hi.
Now, guys, I really need some help from you all, and if it's okay, if you can ask your parents, we want to know who is connecting with us. So if it's okay, if you can put on your chat, we just want to tell you, hi.
Hi.
Now, last week, we started our Who God Is series, and we learned about how God is our Lord. Today is part 2 of that series, and we're going to be talking about how Jesus is our healer and our miracle worker. Now, you may be questioning, but what is a miracle worker? Or even say, what do miracle even mean? So when you check it, it really means it's like when something is done and you have no idea, no way, no how to know how that was done. So how do we know that Jesus is a miracle worker? We will tell you. But before we get into this, and you know what time it is, it's time for
Worship.
Here we go. Na 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 na
Worship was so good, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yes. Now, earlier we were speaking about miracles, and we talked about in terms of it means when something is done and you have no way or how to explain that how it's done. So, I wanted to find out what are some young people perspective, and I asked them, so could you tell me of some persons or some things who may have done things and they can't explain why? Now, the conversation suddenly reached the superheroes, so I was intrigued, so I asked why. I learned about how Superman, how he could fly. I read about Spider-Man and how he climbs up walls. I hear about Captain America, how he's so super strong. And then I hear about Hulk, how he breaks down walls. But then I said, let me ask Adara, who is your superhero? And what did you say again?
Jesus.
Right. She said Jesus is her superhero. But then I asked her, I said, but you are a young person just like them. How come you didn't tell me about Wonder Woman or Batgirl or Supergirl or Storm? How come?
Well, I know that Jesus has the power to do anything that's impossible. And everything that he does, it's written in the Bible.
That is so true. And we don't only want to say it to know, we want to show it to you. So take a look at this.
Whew! I was starting to think you got swept away in the sands of time. Maybe stuck in a sand trap. Or worse, eaten up by some quicksand. Whoa! Whew. But no, you didn't get wrapped up in anything like that. Get it? Wrapped? Like the mummy you found? Anyways, the whole mummy thing is super interesting. When someone died, ancient Egyptians would cover the body in a powder, wrap it up in layers of linen, and then place the body down into a coffin. Those Egyptians were trying to care for those who died. But do you know who cares for us the most and can even heal us when we aren't feeling too hot? God! That's right, God is the ultimate healer and still heals people today. In the Bible, there was a king named Hezekiah. King Hezekiah was a pretty young guy when he first took over and ended up being one of the greatest kings of all time. Yeah, I said it. He was a goat, like the king goat. Old Hezi remained faithful to God, and because of this, he was successful in everything he did. When King Hezekiah was around 39 years old, he became very sick. And we're not talking like the case of the sniffles, no way. He was so sick that God sent him a message through a prophet named Isaiah. The message told Hezekiah to go ahead and get things in order, that he wasn't going to get better and soon he would die. So you can imagine this was pretty tough news to hear. The king wasn't ready to wrap things up quite yet. So he prayed to God and asked him to remember how faithful he had always been and how he always served God with his whole heart. Right after Hezekiah finished praying, God gave Isaiah another message for the king. This next message was quite the game changer. The message told Hezekiah that God had heard his prayers and, drum roll please, decided to heal him. That's right. God told Hezekiah that in 3 days, the king would go to the temple and then God would add 15 more years to his life. King Hezekiah was a little bit of a skeptic though, and was like, prove it! He asked Isaiah for a sign, so that God would prove he'd actually do it. And without missing a beat, Isaiah offered the king 2 options. Do you want the sun shadow to move forward 10 steps or back 10 steps? Hezekiah knew it was pretty easy for the shadow to move forward 10 steps, so he picked the other option. Well, challenge accepted. God made the shadow go back 10 steps, and the king knew he would be healed. Hezekiah decided to go to the temple after 3 days and ended up living for 15 more years. 15! That's because God kept his promise and healed Hezekiah. God has many names, and one of those names is healer because, well, God's a healer. You see, God really cares about us. He really wants us to be healthy physically, like with our bodies, emotionally, with our feelings, mentally, with our thoughts, and spiritually, in our relationship with him. That mummy you found is a great reminder that God can heal any sickness we have. He may not always heal in the way that we would choose, but we can be sure that God is our healer. The best of the quest isn't over yet. We've got lots of ground to cover, and I can't wait to see you next time.
Guys, so you saw Jesus is our healer. But don't think that's all we had for you, no. We have something else that we want to show you, so take a look.
Jesus didn't just talk the talk, he also walked the walk. Hey guys, it's me again, Douglas, and I've got this kid in my neighborhood. His name's Jaden, and he's got this dog named Duke. And Jaden, every time we see him, he's always talking about his dog, Duke. He's such an amazing dog, and he's like a super dog, and he's like as big as a car, and he has like a super nose, and he can always find things by smelling them, and he do all these tricks, like he can sit, and he can jump, and he can walk on his hind legs, and he can do all these things. He's always talking about Duke all the time, this amazing dog. And every time we want to see him, he's like, oh, well, he's sleeping, or he just won't show us the dog. Well, one day we saw him walking a dog, which was not as big as a car, but was otherwise pretty much how he described him. And me and a couple of my friends, we were playing out in the neighborhood, and we saw him walking the dog, and we went over to him and we said, hey, Jaden, is that Duke? And he was like, no, this isn't Duke. And we said, his collar says Duke on it. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, I guess this is Duke. I forgot. Yeah, this is Duke. Silly me. And we're like, okay, cool. Can we see something cool from him? Can we see one of the cool things he does? You said he does lots and lots of cool things. And he was like, well, no, he's really tired right now. And Duke was not tired. He was like pulling on the leash like as hard as he could, trying to get back home. He was trying to walk. And Jaden was like pulling on the leash, trying to keep him in place. And we're like, he's not tired. Just get him to do a trick or something. And Jaden said, okay, well, Duke, walk. And so then he let him walk a little bit. I'm like, no, he's already walking. Do a trick. Maybe even something similar, like get him to sit down. And he said, well, okay, Duke, sit. And Duke did not sit. And I think you know how this story ends. Duke was not the amazing super dog that Jaden said that he was. You know, talk is cheap. You can say whatever you want about something or someone, but if they can't actually do the things that you say they can do, then it proves that Jaden was lying about this dog, you know what I mean? And here's the thing, is Jaden was claiming all these big things about this dog, and they turned out to not be true. But in the Bible, we see that Jesus made all kinds of really, really big claims too. Like way bigger than anything Jaden did about his dog. Like these were crazy, huge things. Like he was saying that he was God's son. And he was telling people that their sins were forgiven. Only God can forgive sins. But he didn't just say these things, he backed them up. Jesus performed all kinds of miracles. And now a miracle is something that happens that really cannot be explained by science at all. And it's not like a magic trick. It's not like something that just like tricks your eyes. This is something that actually happens. And he performed all kinds of miracles, like he turned water into wine, and he helped people who couldn't walk to walk, and he healed people of their diseases, and he helped the blind to see, and he walked on water, and he calmed the sea. He even raised people back from the dead. And he didn't just raise people back from the dead either. He rose from the dead himself. And all of these things were to prove that he really was who he said he was. He didn't just perform these miracles to look cool. In fact, there were some people who asked for a miraculous sign because they just wanted to see something neat. And he wouldn't do it because that's not what he was performing the miracles for. He wasn't just there to entertain people. He was there to change the world. So my challenge to you guys today is that you would go and look it up. In the New Testament, the first 4 books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, we call those the Gospels. They are full of what happened in the life of Jesus and all the many, many miracles that he performed. And actually, it doesn't even have all of the miracles he performed. The Bible says that it would have been impossible to write down every single thing that Jesus did, but he did so many good things for so many people. And through his miracles, he proved that he was the Son of God.
You see why we say Jesus is our superhero? But just to make sure you get it correct, we're going to do a recap. Adara, you going to help me out?
Yes.
Right, so let's go. So, who made the blind see?
Jesus.
And who made the lame walk?
Jesus.
And who made the deaf hear?
Jesus.
And who turned water into wine?
Jesus.
And who walked on water?
Jesus.
And who fed 5,000 persons with 5 loaves and 2 fishes?
Jesus.
And who conquered death?
Jesus.
You understand? And listen, this is just the beginning. Because if we go all into it, we will take months, I'm telling you. But don't take our word for it. Here what to do. You can ask your parents, tell them, let's go and read the first 4 books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and believe me, you'll be amazed at the amount of miracles that Jesus did. Guys, we had so much fun. What about you?
Yes.
So guys, remember to come back same time,
Same place.
As we start part 3 of this series, we'll be learning about how Jesus is our shepherd. We love you, we love you, we love you. Have a blessed week. Have a safe week. Bye.
Bye.